Hi, it's me, Jazzy. I'm back with another tech-related video. Today, we're taking a look at a digital multimeter. This is new from Zoyi. It's the ZT-XR1, and it combines a 4.5 digit digital multimeter with a battery internal resistance tester and a milliohm function. All very useful. So, big thanks to Zoyi for sending this one over for me to test. Let's get it over on the bench and take a closer look. Right, let's have a look what we get in the box. We've got no specs on there. No, I'm sure we've got some inside. Let's take a look. So what do we get? We get our meter in a nice little bag. We've got some instructions here, and we've got various leads and probes. So we've got some standard multimeter probes there. We've got our temperature probe here, and we've got our charge cable USB A to C, pretty standard. And we've got some nice looking Kelvin clips here. This would be for the battery testing part of this meter. Oh, these are actually quite nice, aren't they? Oh yeah, they're a bit different to the other ones. All right. Quite like that. Aviation style plug on there. So we've got our manual here. So it's got a 2.4 inch high res TFT display, 25,000 count with real-time waveform curve recording. Right, so it looks a similar display to the DQ02 for doing battery resistance, and a multimeter with the graph underneath. Nice, okay. So we've got our internal resistance reference chart here, so depending on the different battery types, and we've got a reference table there for what sort of internal resistance to expect. Now there is a calibration option for this. You can upgrade the firmware. Here's the specifications for the multimeter then, 25,000 counts, auto or manual, and there's your tech specs so you can see the accuracy of the meter. You can freeze frame that if you want to have a better look at that. And there's the tech specs for the internal resistance meter. Okay, there we go. So let's have a look at our meter then, shall we? In a nice little bag. Here we go. So this is the ZT-XR1 battery test multimeter. Looks rather snazzy. Actually looks a little bit reminiscent of the Zoyi ZT-R1. It's very similar looking meter, which should make it nice and easy to use because everything's laid out in a similar fashion. So we've got our on and off here, which is also our battery charge indicator. We've got a hold function here, and also gives our rel function to rel out the cables. This swaps between battery resistance mode and digital multimeter mode. This swaps modes between our voltage ranges and frequency, and this changes between capacitance, temperature, diode, resistance and continuity. You can change the speed here, so you can change the speed that you're taking your readings at. And we've got a menu function here, and then under here this is the aviation style plug for your battery internal resistance tester with a protective cover to stop dirt getting into it, which is rather nice. On the back we've got a stand, doesn't lock into place, but other than that feels okay, seems pretty sturdy. Yeah, no complaints there. And we've got our USB charging port on the back there. All right, let's power it on. Nice clear display. Very nice. And we've got our little graph there. Hold that down, swaps between the modes. That takes you into battery resistance mode. That's a very familiar looking screen from the DQ02. Internal resistance will be displayed there, high and low. So basically high and low voltage, high and low resistance. That looks nice and easy. We're going to give that a try in a moment. Multimeter mode. So in terms of voltage range, so we've got DC volts there. Then we've got AC volts, DC millivolts, AC millivolts. And you've also got a frequency display on the top there. So on the function here, we've got our ohms range, which is on auto at the moment. We've got our continuity. We've got diode mode, capacitance, and temperature. Got a menu here. So I guess we need to hold down to go to the menu. Yep. Nice, very familiar looking Zoyi menu. And you've got your up and down keys there, so you can scroll through. You've got language, volume, backlight, timer, calibrate, and restore to factory settings. And about, and that tells me I'm on version 1.0.6. So we have to see if we need to upgrade the firmware or not. That's easily done by plugging in the USB port. Long press again, comes out of menu. Nice and easy. Short press for hold. Yeah, makes sense. Long press to go into relative mode. Right, let's get our probes out. Well, it's just pretty standard probes, but nothing wrong with those. Cat 2, 1000 volts, Cat 3, 600 volts. All right. You've got the removable protectors there. Always good to see. And angled plugs. Nice. Right, let's hook up. So no current measurement on this one, so only 2 terminals to worry about. Right, so probably about time to take the peel off then. There we go, much better. Okay, so let's have a try with some continuity then. There we go. Okay, not bad. Long beep. Okay, continuity seems all right. Okay, so DC volts then. Let's have a look. We've got the PDV S2 Mini here. Let's have a look. So 1 volt. Yep, bang on. Very good. 2. Yeah, it's pretty quick. It's what we've come to expect from a Zoyi meter. They are pretty quick. It's pretty darn accurate as well. 3 volts, good. You see the little graph here stepping up. At 4, we've got 4.002, very nice. At 5, we've got 5.003, 6.003 going on 4, bit of linearity coming in here. Right, 7 volts, we've got 7.004 going on 5, okay, 8 volts, okay, 9 and 10. Very quick, very accurate. I like that. Straight back down to 0. Okay, let's try 100 millivolts. Yeah. Oh yes, yeah, bang on. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. All right, 10 millivolts. Very good. 1 millivolt. Okay, very good. That concludes our testing with the PDV S2 Mini. Over to my bench power supply. Let's quickly try 60. Oh, that was pretty quick, wasn't it? And let's go 120. Yeah, no problems. Pretty quick. I like that. We can do temperature as we got the probe with the meter. We'll go to temperature. There we go. And it gives us centigrade and Fahrenheit simultaneously. Kind of like that. I'm going to put that on top of my Thandar power supply, which is always a bit warm. Seems to be doing its job. I like the graph. Look at the graph. That's quite cool how it's drawing that and it's stepping up. And you've got your max and min temperatures there as well. And an average. That's quite cool. I like that. I love it when these meters work stuff out for me. A nice clear display on this as well. I like the white digits. There's no messing about. It's easy to read. Yeah, seems to do okay for temperature. Okay, let's have a go with diode mode. I love a good diode. Here we go. Where's my diode? Okay, fantastic. Let's check a diode. There's our forward voltage. Okay, 0.595. Okay, about where I'd expect it to be. Diode mode seems absolutely fine. Let's do some frequency. Okay, so the XR1 does do frequency, and it's on this selector here, and you get the frequency displayed at the top rather than on the main display, but that's okay. So I'm putting out 10 kilohertz here, and it's spot on at 10 kilohertz. So if I went 100 kilohertz, yeah, absolutely bang on, not a problem. Let's go down 10 hertz. Yep, 10 hertz, not a problem. Remember, we're looking at this one, don't worry about this one, that's just millivolts. So, yep, 10 hertz, bang on. 1 hertz. And takes a little minute, but yeah, it's there. 1 hertz. Fantastic. Now, the spec for this is quoted at 999.9 kilohertz. So at 500, yes, it's bang on. Okay, so it should do 999.9 kilohertz, and it does. Absolutely bang on. There we go, absolutely within its specification maximum of 999.9 kilohertz. So it's actually gone down lower than its minimum spec of 9.909 hertz, because we went down to 1 hertz. Fantastic, but it won't go up. If I try and go up to 1 meg, it reads it as 100 kilohertz. So yeah, it's absolutely within spec. Okay, we're going to take a look at resistance now. So hold this down to run out the cables. Okay, and we're going to go for 0.1 ohms. Very good. Okay. Okay, 1 ohm. Bang on. 10 ohms. Yep. Very good. 100 ohms. Not bad. And 1K. Let me put it back into auto. Nice. Very good. Okay. Now, we've actually got an extra decade now. Look at that, because this box only goes up to 1K. But with this box, I can do 1 meg. Yes, fantastic. And 10 megs. There we go, 10.01, that's very good. Okay, very good on resistance. So we've gone from 0.1 ohm up to 10 megs, no problems. Right, let's try capacitance. There we go, capacitance mode, okay. Now, is it going to pick up the 160 picofarad residual? It's picking it up as 0.195 nanofarads. Okay, so if we go for 1 nanofarad, don't forget part of that is the residual, so that's not bad at all. Let's go for 10 nanofarads. Yeah, not a problem. 100 nanofarads. Yes, very good. It's quite quick as well, like that. I'm going to go for 1 microfarad. 1.041. Okay, not bad at all, and pretty rapid. Right, let's go for our 10,000 microfarad test. It's always a good test, this one. It's going to take a moment to charge this up. All right, yeah, 0.9598. That's actually rather good. Okay. All right, so pretty good on capacitance and on resistance. It's pretty consistent, this meter, but we see that a lot with the Zoyi meters. They are very consistent, they know their stuff. Okay, so let's have a go then with the battery resistance tester and milliohmeter mode. Right, so the ZT-XR1, as well as being a rather good multimeter, is also a battery internal resistance tester. So just remove the cover there. So we have this aviation style plug that plugs into the front there. Now it's got a little detent there, so you know which way in it goes. It only goes in one way. That's it. It's also got a mark on the top there with a little arrow. Let's power up. Alright, and long press will take us to the battery resistance mode, which we know because the numbers on the screen go red. Now, we've got a whole array of different batteries here that we can take a look at. Here we go. So in the manual, it does give you a reference table here of the battery internal resistances to expect for popular types of battery: lead acid, lithium ion, etc, etc. And on this page here, it gives you a capacity based chart there that will show your expected capacity in ampere hours. Alright, so let's firstly take a look at a couple of 9-volt batteries. This is a brand new one. So 9.67 volts, and we've got an internal resistance of 1.08 ohms or thereabouts. You can actually change the speed as well. We're on mid at the moment, so if you want it to run faster, you can do that, or if you want a slow reading, you can do that. Mid's quite good. Just for comparison's sake, here is the Zoyi DQ02. Okay, so what we can do is we can hold this reading and let's compare it against the DQ02, just for fun. Well, there we go. That's pretty comparable, isn't it? I think we're on all the same settings here, and so the ZT-XR1 is doing rather well for itself. Okay, so that's a good 9-volt battery. What I've got here is a dead 9-volt battery. So we were on 9.67 volts with an internal resistance of 1.08. Let's check our dead one. Yep, so it's pretty flat, less than 3 volts, and internal resistance of, it's a bit all over the place because the battery is no good. It's not a rechargeable battery. It's had it. I only use this for testing purposes. So now we know. This is a different type of 9-volt battery. This is rechargeable, but it's a lithium ion. It's not like those cheap Temu ones. This is actually quite an expensive battery. See what this tests as, and it tests at 8.05 volts, 321 milliohms. Okay, what have we got left to test? Right, we've got a AA. Now it does tell us in the book here with a AA battery, alkaline, AA and AAA, we should be looking for somewhere between 100 and 300 milliohms. And we're looking at around 150 milliohms, 1.6 volts. That is a very healthy battery. And this is a slightly discharged AAA. Okay, but not too bad, as that's reading quite reasonable. Let's take a look at an 18650. This is a very popular type of rechargeable Li-ion battery. So an 18650, let's have a look. If we look on a Li-ion, we should be looking at 20 to 90 milliohms. This is just a guide at what should be a healthy battery. So 20 to 90 milliohms, we're looking at around 50 milliohms. It's reading at 3.3 volts at the moment. That's fine. That is a healthy battery. Now, we haven't tried this D-cell battery. Don't use many of those these days. 1.61 volts, somewhere around 70 milliohms for that D-cell. Now, this is a lead-acid battery. This is from a UPS, and this is a good one. So let's see what we get on this. Whoa. So we're reading as 12.7 volts, 21.6 milliohms. Now it hasn't specifically got UPS batteries on here, but it does have lead acid. A deep cycle battery is typically 5 to 20 milliohms. Given the size of this one, I'd say we're probably about right. Plus the fact that this is brand new and it's not been in a UPS yet. I think we're good with that. It's nice that it gives you the internal resistance. We have quite a lot of UPSs between us here and the IT place next door. There's a lot of UPSs, so it's good to know if you run a UPS, it's good to know the condition of your batteries or anything that takes batteries like that of a rechargeable nature. These have come out of an old bit of test gear which I picked up recently, and I took them out. These are nickel metal hydride. These are pretty old, and they are 24 volts, 0.85 AH. They came out of an old bit of test gear that I bought on eBay, and you'll see it on an upcoming episode, the bit of gear that I took these out of. It's quite an old bit of test gear. That's actually still giving me 12.8 volts. I might be able to use these in something. They're quite old. 297 milliohms, 12.8 volts. All right, so look at the other one. 12.8 volts, 317 milliohms. Okay, interesting. So there we go. In terms of battery testing, it makes it nice and easy, doesn't it? So although the Zoyi ZT-XR1 is sold as a battery internal resistance meter and a multimeter, the fact that it measures milliohms of internal resistance of batteries, you can use this as a precision milliohm meter as well. Oh yes, I kid you not. I have here a set of 3 milliohm ultra precision laboratory standards. These are 4-wire resistors, 100 milliohms, 10 milliohms and 1 milliohm. So let's see how accurate the Zoyi is at measuring milliohms. Now the XR1 does come with these lovely 4-wire Kelvin probes, which will give you accurate milliohm measurements in normal use. The 4-wire measurements on these, as with any Kelvin probes, stops at the tip of the probes. Now you will notice these lab standards here have 4 terminals on them. So to get a true accurate reading, you would use 4 wires. So that is what we're going to do, because what we want to see is how good the Zoyi is. Can it actually measure these laboratory standards accurately? Right, so what we'll do, we'll start with 100 milliohms first. I'm putting these croc clips on so I can get a true 4-wire measurement, because what I'm going to do, this might look rather odd, but I'm going to put the Kelvin clips into here so I can get a true 4-wire measurement, because you will see that these are now insulated from each other by these clips here. So it might look a bit of an odd concoction, and you really wouldn't go to these extremes normally, but these are such precision resistors and such small measurements. You can see here, look at this, 100.02 milliohms. That is excellent. That is absolutely excellent for this meter. And you'll see why. In a moment, I'll show you why I've gone to these lengths to get a more accurate reading rather than just putting the Kelvin clips on the terminals. There is a reason for that. That's pretty darn good. So I'm going to try the same on the 10 milliohm. So same setup again. This is going to be a little trickier because these are different heights. These are oil filled, these ones. These are extremely high precision laboratory resistors, these. And we have these for doing various tests of meters like this. All right, a little bit of a fiddle faddle, but as long as I've got them isolated from each other, we're good. Right, so on the 10 milliohm, we've got 10.04, 10.03, 10.04. Pretty darn good. I would say that is excellent for this meter. Now we're going to go down to 1 milliohm. This is where it gets interesting. I hope you're following this at home. This is all part of the fun of testing, the joy of testing these things. You get to use fabulous equipment like this. So at 1 milliohm, this is rather excellent. 1.01. That's fantastic. 1.01 milliohms. What a meter. So just goes to show you can use this perfectly well as a milliohm meter. Milliohm meters are not cheap. So the fact that this can be used as a milliohm meter and a battery resistance tester and a multimeter, well, it's just value for money. Now, so what I'll do now, so we've seen the reading 1.01 with a true 4-wire measurement. So if I take all these clips off now, we'll do a couple of measurements. So first of all, we'll go on the current terminals and we will get a reading, but it's not as accurate. That's why we did the true 4-wire measurement. And yes, I know there are people that will say these cables are not screened. At these values, it doesn't really make that much difference. You can see we're getting 1.07, 1.08, so not as accurate. And if I go on the voltage terminals, we get 1.96, 1.97. That is why at these sort of low values, we do a 4-wire measurement to get the most accurate result. And we can see from that this does indeed give a really accurate result as a milliohm meter. This is quite the bit of kit for the money. I've looked at a few different Zoyi meters now of various types, and I've got to say I'm always impressed by the value for money. All of these meters do a great job in many different ways, and the one thing they've got in common is great value for money. So there you go, the ZT-XR1, another fine addition to the range. So there you go, the Zoyi ZT-XR1 digital multimeter and battery internal resistance tester. And as we've seen, a pretty darn good milliohm meter. So this has many functions in one, and I think for the price it's excellent. I've taken a look at quite a few Zoyi meters now. As we've seen, they're generally pretty accurate and they're all great value. I reckon this one is an absolute winner for me. It's small enough to be portable, and you've got the addition of that battery internal resistance testing function, which I find incredibly useful. And it's also going to come in handy for very small resistance measurements. So I think it's a really great little meter. I take a look at a lot of multimeters and I always look forward to testing the Zoyi ones because generally they're always pretty darn good. This one, no exception. Really good value for money, accurate and fast. If you'd like to check out the ZT-XR1 for yourself, I will leave the links in the video description down below, and big thanks to Zoyi for sending this one over for me to test. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. As always, massive thanks to everyone for watching, sharing, liking and subscribing, and big thanks to all my YouTube members. Don't forget you can now support me on Patreon and buy me a coffee, which helps to support the channel and keeps me making more of those cool tech videos. I'll be back soon with another tech related video, but in the meantime, take care and I'll see you on the next one.